All right, welcome back to the Tuesday. Let's talk about NorCal Regionals,
That's
NCR
right.
2016.
Took place this past weekend, was the second premier event for the Capcom Pro Tour, fourth tournament overall. Because like every time I kept saying second, they're like, "What about Con Winter Clash?" And I was like, "That was a ranking event." So there was been two ranking events already, and now two premier events.
Got it. Yeah, and it was a really good one. Of course, it wasn't just Street Fighter. There were plenty of other games there too.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as I could tell, everything went really well. Like the organization seemed on point.
Right.
The layout was great.
It ran on time and everything.
It did.
Yeah, obviously it didn't have the 1,024 entrants that final
Right.
round had, but having just come from final round, that was all the drama last week, so it was really cool to go to NCR. And last year NCR had that problem where they played on the wrong version to start the top 8,
Ooh, yeah.
which is what caused John Choi to buy Kazunoko a ticket to SCR,
That's
remember?
right.
Because he won, and then when they replayed, he lost.
That's right.
All that stuff. But this year, everything ran really super smooth. I felt like everything, it was really well organized, and the bracket of death was just the best thing ever.
So, what happened was they took pre-registration, and they still also took late registrants, people who registered like the day of or whatever. But all of those people who registered late were stuck into one pool number 16. It was reserved for specifically those people who did not pre-reg.
It's basically their own qualification tournament in a way.
Kind of, yeah. And I love that idea. I think that's so smart. I don't want a situation which typically happens where late registrants come in and they're just inserted into other pools which are already sort of tried to be balanced out. And what happens is that sometimes you end up with more really good players in one pool than you would want because of the way the late registration forces
because you can't see them ahead of time because they didn't register early
Exactly.
enough. You don't know they're coming.
Exactly right. So that's a hassle for everybody, and it also makes it so that pools might have to be changed around if something really is weird, and that's an inconvenience for everybody. So, but it would also suck to have no late registration, because that way people who don't have credit cards, don't have PayPal, or don't live in the country, or whatever, don't know that they can make it on time in advance. It makes it so that none of them can even play, which is also crappy. So I feel like this is the best sort of solution. This is the best compromise.
Yeah, and some people said oh, that sucks because then you punish people. They're all whatever. Dude, if you wanted to win the tournament, you're gonna have to face some good players anyway, right? So getting it out of death pool, I mean, look, especially with the way that it did turn out.
Yeah.
Right? So, look, I mean, who was in the death pool? Do you remember some of the names in there? We had K-Brad was in there.
Mago was in there.
Punko was in there. Chris T was in there. Filipino Champ was in there. Marn was in there.
Yeah, F Champ ended up in 97th place or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, that was poor guy.
Well, yeah. He should have made sure that he was pre-registered.
I don't know how he actually did say he thought he had pre-registered and somehow he wasn't.
That's unfortunate. But
Right,
you definitely have
right.
to make sure that you are pre-registered.
Yeah. So there was definitely a lot of killers in that pool.
Yeah, it was really
And so
tough.
a lot of people were predicting who was going to make it out of there. A lot of people were like, oh, F-Champ and Mago's got it. Mago and Punko, all these things like that. And Marn came at the last minute because his stream viewers basically GoFunded him, GoFundMe'd him to go. And at first, when he was going, he was like, I'm going to body everybody. Then he found out about the pool of death. He's like, well, sorry, guys. You paid for me to get destroyed.
Yeah.
But that's not what happened.
That's not what happened. He took to calling the pool of death the pool of life.
And he kept saying it was free.
Yeah.
After he made it out on winner's side, having beat guys like Mago and K-Brad and so many people.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
It was a really tough road, but that's not where the road ended.
He kept going.
He kept going. Well, you want to get to the results?
Sure. Well, I mean, look, he beat a bunch of players. He made it out of the pool in the winner's side. He made his way all the way through semifinals bracket as well and ended up in top 8. So, yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty great. The only person who he lost to before top 8 was Infiltration, who, of course, ended up winning the whole thing.
Yeah, spoilers.
Oh no, spoilers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, his run was ridiculous, I gotta say. He beat... So, Marn beat Filipino Man, Kazunoko, Knuckle Dew. He beat Ricky Ortiz. And then he finally lost to Justin. So,
yeah.
Anyway, results. It was super stacked, obviously. Top 16, Mago, Karen, Lamer Boy Rashid, Snake Eyes Zangief, Kazunoko Kami, 9th.
Yeah, I do want to point out the fact that Mago was the other person to make it out of that death bracket.
Oh, yeah.
And he made it all the way to top 16. So the two people made out of death bracket, not only did they get far, but they might have been, like, warmed up. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, you just went through a bunch of killers.
Yeah.
And now you're like, okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
Right? So they did really well. So you can't even say that that death bracket was unfair. Because if you make it out... Because, look, even if you were spread out, you're still going to have to beat a lot of those guys anyway to make it that far.
Yeah.
So...
Okay.
It is what it is.
9th place is A.S. Reynolds with Nikali. Nice.
That was awesome.
Coming into Street Fighter. R.B. Bonchan, Ryu, Razor Cien with Fang, and YP Filipino Man with Chun-Li. Top 8. MJS Haitani with Nikali, and E.G. Ricky with Chun. 5th, Julio Ken and Liquid Knuckle Dew Nash. 4th, Marn with Mika. 3rd, E.G. Jaewong with Karen. 2nd, Mad Catz Tokido with Ryu. Winner, RZR Infiltration with Nash. And again, he ran away with it.
Yep, a repeat of last week's grand finals. That final round, Infiltration and Tokido. Tokido had 2 shots this time, so Tokido only faced him in grand finals at final round.
Yeah.
This time he had 2 shots, and he just couldn't find an answer. And in fact, even right before the event, Daigo did a special Daigo the Beast TV stream where he analyzed the Ryu versus Nash matchup,
Right.
supposedly to help Tokido prepare. But
Yeah.
the problem is, look, you can prepare all you want for Nash. You can't study and break down Infiltration in that same way, right?
Yeah,
So,
and you know, I asked Infiltration what his training is like. You know, does he go and meet up with Korean players? How does that work? Not really. Not really. He plays in training mode, and then he plays online.
Yeah.
And in ranked, not even in like lounges.
Yeah.
It's like just playing randos online, and thinking about it in training mode, and basically by himself.
Dude, people don't believe it. Like, a lot of people have this thing, like, you can only learn when you play against people that you're better, that are better than you.
Yeah.
I mean, I always felt like there's something really good about playing people that you're better than and training there, because you really get an understanding of the flow of the game and what your character is capable of. You start learning how to move and everything. Because I remember when Justin used to live with me and I would play with him and I would train.
Yeah.
I just basically got put in the corner and died.
Right?
Yeah. Like, I was just like, I didn't feel like I was learning anything because I just got put in the corner and died. I have never felt as terrible playing Street Fighter as when I played Justin.
Okay.
I'm just going to be 100% honest with you. I have played against Alex Vai for my whole entire life. I have played against a lot of good players. When I played against Justin, it was like a whole different thing.
Yeah.
This is why my respect for Justin is so large, because
Yeah.
like, seriously, he just knew everything I was going to do.
Yeah.
And it was,
I've been there. He's done the same thing to me.
so painful, dude. It's so painful. But yeah, I mean, Infiltration is just, by playing online, he's just like, oh, okay, this cool work. Oh, okay, I can move Nash this way. I can do all these things. And then he'll go and test things in training mode. And I think that actually works out well for him. He might be one of those people who gets better by beating up on people all day.
It clearly does. I really think that the biggest way he gets better is just by thinking about it.
Yeah.
You know? Because a lot of the things that I see him do, it's not necessarily setups. It's more about moving and being at the right spot. It was even like this in SF4. I mean, when he played Akuma, obviously setups are important. But if you go back and you take a look at just like the way he moves and where and when, all of those are really tough things to figure out. Like, even if you've played a lot, and he's just really good at that stuff. He's just like naturally is super awesome at it. I think there's a lot of just natural talent.
Yeah.
And very impressive win. So, sucks for Justin that he dropped those combos against Tokido that could have put him into grand finals.
He said he had a lot of plans for Infiltration, too.
Yeah, he did.
He said that because he thinks that Karen beats Nash. So he was like, oh, okay, I've got these things ready to go. And, yeah, he just...
yeah.
And, you know, I said to Justin afterwards, I was like, dude, you Wong factored yourself. Because that's exactly what he did. He dropped the winning combo, and then he thought about it. You could tell. You could tell he thought about it.
It went downhill.
Yeah.
But also, after that game, that Tokido squeaked by in, Mago ran up to the stage and gave him all this advice that you could tell, like, immediately was helpful. He really changed up his game and it worked. Yeah,
for sure. So, again, Tokido obviously deserves it. He's clearly the second best player right now.
Seems like it, yeah.
For the game. Made it there to Infiltration. But, man, the gap between Infiltration and Tokido is still palpable.
It's still big.
Yeah.
Yeah. Having Marn at 4th place is a trip to me. People have been asking, what is there to learn from Marn having done well? What can I glean from his gameplay? What can I use myself? It's just the wrong question.
I saw your tweet about magnets.
Yeah, the Richard Feynman episode.
Replace magnets with Marn.
And he's just talking about why you just can't answer some questions.
Right.
You just have to take for granted. Like, there have to just be some truths in the world.
Right.
Because without that, you're just asking why forever.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those truths is just Marn does well.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I've never known why.
Yeah.
But it's not. That's not a question that only I have wondered. Everybody's always wondered that. Everybody's been telling Marn that he sucks for a dozen years, and he's nevertheless won majors and gotten top 8s, including at Evo, in 3-4 different games.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So he's really good. I don't know why.
It's just it's interesting because I really just feel like it's because he doesn't respect anybody. You know what I mean? He doesn't respect anybody. It's twofold, right? I mean, if I really did have to give an analysis on it, right?
Okay.
It's one is that he doesn't respect anybody because he's kind of like the guy who's like terminally ill and you send him out to combat with a machine gun against 100 warriors. Like, what does it matter? He's going to die tomorrow anyway, so I'm just going to go out there and like shoot everybody. Like, that's kind of how it feels to me. Like, he's just like... He just goes out there and does whatever. Like, it just doesn't matter to him, right? And he just doesn't respect anyone. 2, honestly, I just feel like a lot of people psych themselves out because they're like, I don't want to lose to Marn. I don't want to be the guy losing to Marn. Because Marn was doing all the stream antics with the facial expressions. And we saw it. Even, remember how we said, we always talk about Ricky, how she loves to look at her opponent during in-between matches and everything. And she did one time and laughed because Marn was pretending to take off his shirt. And from that point on, all of a sudden, Ricky was like, very obviously trying not to pay attention to Marn in between matches. And it's almost like she psyched herself out that way. You know, I feel like it's kind of twofold. Like, Marn just doesn't care, and then people are just like, I don't want to lose the Marn, and then that's what makes them lose to him.
Well, a lot of people don't have respect for a lot of other people, and most of those people don't make top 4 at one of the most stacked tournaments yet. So I think there's got to be something more to it, and I just don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. You know, for a while I was Marn's demon. This is true.
What? Really?
Yeah, you can even ask him. In Street Fighter 4, he couldn't beat me early on.
You know, because
but you know,
you're probably just because you like to play as much of a troll as him.
No, that wasn't it. It wasn't that I was his demon so much. It was that he played Viper and he insisted on going in rather than playing away against Zangief.
Oh, okay.
And so I just beat him because he never. But it was so it's such a Marn thing to do, right?
Right.
He's not gonna learn to. How many times did he jump in against?
Yeah.
He just kept doing it. It was the same thing when I used to play against him. That's how I know he's like that. Because he just kept on jumping in and I kept pressing 3 punches and lariating.
Right.
And he just wouldn't stop. Well, and I would be like, Marn, you should zone. You have Seismo. And he would just jump in.
I'm going to say this about Marn.
I don't know.
I feel like he's anti-flow. Because I've played Marn in casuals. And I can beat Marn in casuals. Like when we were playing Street Fighter 4 when Justin was there, because Marn would come over all the time because Justin was there, right?
Yeah.
And we would play. And then Justin would be like, here, you and Marn play. And we would play and we would go even. Right? I guarantee you if I played Martin in a tournament, I would get destroyed. I would get destroyed. So he's like anti-flow. Like in casuals, he's the worst.
That's funny.
But in tournaments, he's just ridiculous. So I don't know. I don't know what it is about. I don't know.
It's just one of those truths in the world, man. Okay, fifth, Do. That's great. Happy to see him being consistent.
Yeah.
Same with Julio, consistency. Same with Haitani, consistency. Ricky was just outside of top 8 last time as well, so we're seeing a lot of consistent play. Yeah. And Sien was just outside of top 8 last time. Like, it's awesome.
Yeah. What do you think about so it was interesting because a lot of people pointed out that, the character representation was Nash times 2. If you replaced one of the Nashes with Fang, it would be the exact same character representation for final round. Do you think that's just coincidence, or do you think that's indicative of anything?
I really think it's coincidence, yeah. Okay. In fact, even talking with Infiltration, I asked whether Nash is too good. And I just asked what he thought about Nash, and he said, okay.
Yeah,
Hard to use, but okay. Planning to switch to Alex.
I mean, look.
It doesn't even matter.
A lot of people are like, if you don't have a 3-frame normal, your character sucks. Nash doesn't have a 3-frame normal.
Yeah, or an invincible dragon punch.
Right, and it doesn't seem to bother him at all. So yeah, I don't know. Look, honestly, I feel like Infiltration could have went with any character, and he'd probably be winning with that character.
Pretty much.
It's kind of ridiculous. But before we move on, let me ask you another question. So, Xian with Fang.
Yeah.
Snake Eyes with Zangief. Do you feel like either of those players can do better in tournaments if they stay with those characters, or do you feel like that those two characters struggle?
I asked Snake about this. He said, by the way, he thinks Geef is just a mid-tier character.
Okay.
Not bad.
Okay.
But he also thinks that he might need to use another character for some matchups, which I said you're probably right.
He did that to fight Sagat.
Right, exactly.
Right, so. And
he mentioned maybe Ryu. I said I think that's a great idea because this is like a brawler offensive Ryu. Like I could totally see you playing it. But he just says he feels so comfortable with Geef that like he's sticking with him. So I feel like if he were playing a different character, he would just be uncomfortable and maybe not as successful.
If he wants to learn how to play Ryu, he needs to watch you play. He needs to learn...
Grappler Ryu,
Yeah,
right?
Grappler Ryu.
Yeah.
He needs to learn the Ultra David school of Ryu.
Yeah, just playing for the grab and the break.
That's
basically what I play for. I think Ryu can play like that.
What about Birdie? Someone in the chat says that he would be broken as a Birdie player.
I'm sure he would be great as a Birdie player. I feel like he'd be good with a lot of characters, though. I feel like Geef is more of his strength than Birdie, but either way.
Okay, so what about Xian?
I really think Xian should play Dalsum or Vega.
Yeah.
I really do.
I'm surprised he's not using Dalsum.
Well, he did an interview at Final Round, and in that interview, he said that partly he was playing Fang to get the gimmicks going early. He was very upfront about it, to gimmick people out early on. And then he might switch away after that. He said he also thinks that Fang is weak, but that he just feels like there's a lot of power in those early gimmicks, which I think is true. But now that stuff's getting figured out, it's probably better for him to move on. I don't think that Fang is bad long term. I do think he's going to get better. I don't think that's a problem. But I also think that if you have a chance to win $10,000 on a given weekend early on, you should probably do your best to take it. Maybe keep Fang in the back, keep working on it, bring it out once it's ready. I don't know. But that said, I really feel like Sim and Vega fit.
Yeah, I mean, he used Sim in Street Fighter 4 before he went to Gen, right? So it seems like a natural fit for him, especially since Sim is so good in this game. But even saying that, I think the dominance of Sim was definitely very exaggerated. He's definitely... I don't think he's a top 3 character.
Me neither.
Right, so... But again, people who aren't in top 3 are, right there. So the game is still so ridiculously balanced.
I think that's true.
And of course, it's still early. Who knows how it's going to turn out.
Yeah.
So, because remember when Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 first came out, everyone thought Ghost Rider was going to kill everybody because you couldn't get in on him.
It's funny.
And then he became completely irrelevant. So, there you go.
Okay. Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. 7th places, Northwest Majors, Kyle P., Spencer Doom Virgil, and Marn. 0 Virgil Strider. 5th, PHO, maybe Apology Man, with Firebrand Doom Scroll. 5th, KIT SBK with Wolverine Dante Akuma. 4th, Kai626 Ilverling.
Yeah.
0 Taskmaster and Virgil. 3rd was BT Clockwork with Virgil Doom Strider. 2nd, Justin Wong, E.G. Wong, Wolverine Storm Akuma, and Virgil Storm Akuma. Winner, New York Chris G. Morgan, Doom and Virgil.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We actually got to watch this because we weren't busy the whole day. That's cool. So I did watch it.
Yeah, lots of fun action there.
Man.
Look, I'm telling
Killer
you.
Kai. The drop.
Oh, the drop. You're
The
thinking
drop.
of the drop. I was thinking about his match versus Apology Man. where the shirt came off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I asked him about that.
Uh-huh.
Like, is that just for show, or do you feel like there's some real benefit to that? And his response I thought was very interesting. He said that he thinks of a tournament match as not just being between the two players and just between the two characters or teams. He says there's all these moving parts. And some of those parts are like the audience, the game sound, the gameplay, the opponent, the room that you're in, all these different moving parts.
Okay.
And so
it's very zen.
Yeah, right. It's a very interesting response. And so he says that what he wants to do when he's losing is to switch some of those pieces around. And that one way to do that is to like take off his shirt and get the crowd like going.
Right.
Because when the crowd's going, that piece has changed. The room has changed. It changes the opponent.
Yeah.
And so he just wants to shuffle them up and get back in there. And so that's what he tried to do, and it worked.
Look, I'm also gonna say this. I think most Marvel players know how emotional Apology Man is. That was the right person to do it on. Like when he was playing against Clockwork, if he had taken his shirt off, I don't think it would have changed anything.
That's what he said. He said you can only do it only so often, and that he didn't think
there's
it would
a
be.
time and a place, is what he always says. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. And he didn't think the Clockwork was the one. So I thought that was a really cool response.
Yeah. And you know what? He can get away with it. He can get away with it and not be embarrassed.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Oh man.
There was no Filipino champ, by the way. He didn't enter.
Right, because he feels like he needs to focus on Street Fighter V, and that he only really has time for one game now. So.
Oh, good job to Chris.
But I mean, the Chris Justin match, very very close. Justin's playing this fairly adequate Virgil that he's basically just making get by on his own fundamentals.
Yeah.
Like apparently people were saying it looked better than it did at final round.
Okay.
But dude, I don't even think Justin probably played at all between then, right? So unless he played Marn with some Marvel casually or
maybe,
something.
yeah.
But yeah, his Virgil's cute.
That's cute. That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
It's cute.
He got second place, so it's pretty good still. Smash Bros. Melee. 7th places C4D Samus and JP Captain Falcon. 5th Dr. Grin Sheik and Dinuna with Marth. 4th Henrius with Fox. 3rd Memorain with Falcon. 2nd place YP Bizarro Flame with Ganondorf. Man, that's pretty great. 1st place TSG KFC with Fox. Yeah, I watched this too.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah, I mean, I heard that
Shoutouts to Ganondorf.
The Smash community didn't have a great experience with NCR past year, so there's not a lot of big names there.
For sure.
So,
yeah. But it's cool to see again do well. Ultra Street Fighter 4.
We watched this.
Because we commentated it,
That's
in
right.
fact. Top 8, 7th were MOV with Ibuki and Ken, and DM El Cubano Loco with Vega. 5th were NY Chris G with Sakura and Lucan with Evil Ryu. 4th was Brent is Cool with Rufus and Rolento. 3rd was Liquid Knuckle Dew with Guile DeCapre Akuma. 2nd place, Panda TV Dako with Evil Ryu, Akuma, Ryu. And winner Kanba Doyu Shaohai with Evil Ryu, Elena.
Yeah, it's still really funny to me how everybody turned on the game so quickly.
Yeah.
like I mean, dude, look at the chat right now. We got Resident Sleepers all over the place, right?
That's surprising.
Dude,
but yeah.
it's just like literally like I don't even think it was like that it's not being supported by money. Like it just felt like everyone was just like, God damn, I'm sick of this game and like I really need to go do something else now.
Yeah.
You know? People just don't want to play this, it seems like, anymore. So it's really funny.
Well, 1st and 2nd place were training partners, both from China.
Yeah.
You know,
Apparently China still plays this game.
It was cool to see them play because, obviously they weren't pulling any punches, but at the same time, like, they were sort of, like, laughing and having a good time. So it was really cool to watch.
Did we get a sub here?
Not as crappy as I was worried it would be. Smash Bros. For Wii U. 7 places.
Shoutouts to jcheng65. He's subscribed for 14 months in a row.
Wow, that's a long time.
Thank you.
Thank you. PXG York with Olimar and DET Crispy Tacos with Mario and Wii Fit Trainer. 5th. 5th was The Mogul with Rob and PHO Apology Man with Lucario.
He said he was going to win, by the way.
Yeah, he was pretty confident.
Yeah,
4th, Andy Sorrow with Bowser Jr. 3rd, NME Zex with Diddy Kong Chic Marth. 2nd, SG Hitaku with Mewtwo. And winner, TA Trevante, Chic, and Bayonetta.
Bayonetta.
Also watched that. Yeah, that was cool.
Oh, did you get to see a lot of it? I didn't actually see a lot of it.
Yeah, it was just after Street Fighter 4.
Right, and that's when I went back to the room and took a nap. So.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it was before SF4, actually.
Oh, I was still asleep.
You were still asleep.
I was still asleep.
Okay.
That's what it was, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it was cool, man. I'd never seen Mewtwo played like that, so that was cool.
Did I say 14 years instead of 14 months?
That would be a long time, absolutely.
Dude, I mean, it would be... I wouldn't be surprised. That's what happens when your brain is as old as mine, so...
Trevante beat people in Street Fighter. Who was it? I forget.
Right.
It was...
yeah.
Somebody
he beat someone really good.
Somebody really good.
I even just remember hearing people talking about it, too.
I think he almost beat K-Brad.
Yeah.
And he did beat somebody else who was really good.
Right,
well, if you remember, let us know in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Killer Instinct, 7th place is Mike Loafers with Jago and KSBLT Snowblind with Hisako. 5th, Virus916 Jago, Maggot Sai, Saber Wolf. 4th, BMA Kinetic Onslaught with Saber Wolf.
Oh, he beat Chris T. That's what it was.
Ah, Chris T.
Yeah.
That's right. Thank you. Noble Dab with TJ Combo. I didn't know he played it like that. And 2nd was PH Nasser, who I also... Oh, no, that's right. Yeah, he told me. With Orchid and Jago. Winner, Rocksteady, a.k.a. The Hado.
That's right.
A.k.a. Rick.
The TO for Combo Breaker.
He won Killer Instinct with Glacius.
I mean, he said that the competition there wasn't like the best of players and everything like that, but, it's still cool.
Whatever happens.
He ended up getting a medal, so there you go.
Guilty Gear Xrd Sign. 7th places were Nefarious Al with Eno and Pompa Romp with Venom. 5th, 0 Hour with Sin and Fu with Leo. 4th, TS Nerd Josh Elfel. 3rd, HNH Kizuke with Sin.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, that's cool. 2nd, The Beautiful Dude with Zato. And winner, Bjorn, Son of Bear with Chip.
That's really odd to me that, like, Kazunoko didn't play.
I guess he probably didn't play, yeah.
Maybe he didn't get there, because I think that was mostly on Friday or something like that.
I see.
So, yeah, he didn't get there on time or something. But, okay.
Mortal Kombat X, 7th, Marine with Acidic Alien, and Chris G with Bojutsu Kung Jin.
Oh, cool. Nice.
5th, Shinobi Enenra with Noxious Reptile, Smoke, and Swarm Queen Devora. 5th, Noble Dab with Wrestler Jax, Hunter Predator. 4th, GG the Googs with Shirai Ryu Takeda. Or, excuse me, Shirai Ryu
Right.
Takeda.
Uh-huh.
In fact, Takeda, even? I forgot how to
Yeah,
pronounce it.
I think it was like Taquita or something. Yeah.
That's how the game pronounces it. 3rd, X Shadow X Darkness. Cool.
There's no X at the end there?
No. Yeah, so it's X SHDW X underscore darkness. So maybe it's like an old like
Shadow Darkness.
It's like a Counter-Strike team maybe.
Yeah.
X Shadows.
Yeah.
Darkness. Anyway, with Flame Fist, Liu Kang, and Shaolin Kung Jin. 2nd, Shinobi Retro Tech with Master of Souls Ermac, Royal Storm Katana, Assassin Katana, and Covert Ops Sonya Blade. Good work. 1st, KHTC Sinister with Master of Souls Ermac, Wrestler Jax, Mystic Ermac. That's cool. I didn't get to watch any of this, unfortunately.
Okay.
It kind of made me sad.
That was the top 8 was on Saturday or
Saturday?
Friday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nitro plus Blasters, Heroines Infinite Duel.
Hey, dude, there was $1,000 pop bonus for
I'm
that
not
game.
making fun of it. I think that's super cool. Yeah. Moo Master 7th with Heart and the Phantom Knot with Saber. 5th, Sudden Blackout with Saya and Tone. with Homura. 4th, Delta with Saber. 3rd, Koopa with Ain. 2nd, 0 Hour with Ethica. And winner was Jassipi 2DX with Homura.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, that $1,000 pop bonus was given completely by the publisher. So I think that's cool.
It is cool.
The game.
Definitely.
Sure. Yeah.
Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. 4th, Silent Scope with Cammy.
Yeah.
3rd, Afro Cole with Dalsum. 2nd place, Ultra Combo with Sagat, Old Sagat, pretty sure Ken.
He played a Vega at
New
some point,
Ken.
I think. Or was it Kev that played Vega?
Yeah, it was Kev.
Okay.
Winner Kev with Balrog and Vega. That is to say, Boxer and Cole and Claw.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was fun. We got to commentate the top 8 for that. That
Agreed.
was super fun.
It was
Always
fun.
a blast doing Super Turbo.
You know it. So that was NCR. Everybody said it went well. I just want to shout out Old Town Sacramento.
Yeah, actually, I was about to talk about that because I feel like a lot of people don't go. I kept making fun of Sacramento on stream when I was commentating with Angie, and Angie's like, "Why are you dogging Sacramento?"
Yeah. So look, Sacramento, the city itself is not that big, although the metro area has a couple million people, but the city itself is kind of small, and so like maybe there's not a ton to do there. But where the hotel happened to be was just across the street from Old Town Sacramento, which is sort of a touristy area with lots of old 1800s looking buildings and a bunch of restaurants, bars,
like all the
tourist shops.
Sidewalks are wood boards and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I remarked to David that I feel like I'm at like Disneyland or Knott's Berry Farm when I walk on them. Cause it's like the only place that you run into that these days, right?
Well, yeah, that's what they're copying, right?
Yeah,
I mean, they're copying that kind of style. So that was definitely cool. And in fact, even though we've been to other much bigger cities, Atlanta, for example, ton of awesome stuff to do in Atlanta, but we are in a hotel that's nowhere near any of that stuff.
Right.
And we're not going to get to it. But this hotel was like right across the street from a lot of things.
Yeah, you just go under the tunnel.
Yeah.
And in fact, the other side too, which was like the more modern downtown Sacramento, was actually all closed down.
Yeah.
Right? So because the previous years I went there was a bunch of stuff, and I think I found out why it's renovating too. Is that when I left the hotel, the Uber driver pointed out that the new Sacramento Sacramento Kings Stadium is like right there.
Really?
Like they're building it right there in the middle of downtown to get more people there.
It's not in the boonies anymore.
Yeah, so what's going to happen is that place is going to explode. There's going to be a lot more restaurants, so that whole area is probably going to all of a sudden just... Which will be cool for the town because it's going to get a lot more, businesses and stuff like that there. But man, I'm sure they're going to hate traffic on on the days of the games. But yeah, no, apparently it's gonna get bigger there. But no, Old Town Sac, I'm not gonna lie, it was really nice. It's fun. It's very quaint. Quaint is definitely the word to use to describe.
We went to Joe's Crab Shack 2 nights in a row.
We both got the same meal 2 nights in a row.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's not so many options for me at the Joe's Crab Shack, so it's...
Also, the weirdest part was literally they changed the menu between the Saturday night and Sunday night.
Yeah.
Like, we walked in on Sunday and they gave us completely different looking new menus, and the waitress is like, they changed our menus, like, literally today.
Like, corporate headquarters changed the menus, and we happened to be there for the new opening day of it, I guess.
Yeah, and, like, they lost, like, a ton of their dishes and stuff. It was very weird.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was alright. Anything else about NCR?
No, it was really cool. It was really cool. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
felt a lot more like a premiere event this year.
Agreed.
So yeah, hopefully it can keep up that power next year.
Yeah, man. I'm with you.
Okay.
Alright. Anything else going on right now, or should we take a break? Just mention any quick upcoming events, if so.
Let's save that for after the break.
You got it.
All right. When we come back, more information on events and games. Be right back.